Kia ora, welcome to this episode of The Amateur Austenite. I'm Frances Duncan, author, Austenite, life coach. With me is co-host Rachel Pilwa, book buyer, Austenite, and all-round nerd.
Hi!
Today we're discussing chapter 51 of Emma. Mr. Knightley reads Frank's letter, proposes to Emma that he live at Hartfield with her and her dad.
Woo!
I mean, it's really lovely of him, but also just wild.
He is amazing. I love him. I love him! Marry me instead, Mr. Knightley. I think it might be the most generous act in Austen.
Probably.
Not to diminish the acts of some of the other characters in other books, because there have been many very loving... I feel like Austen's love language must have been acts of service. All of her, male leads, Darcy finding Lydia, helping set up the wedding, those actions have very little self-sacrifice compared to Knightley leaving his home to move to Hartfield.
Sacrificing his entire independence.
Mm-hmm.
The man is the head of the household. He will now be under Mr. Woodhouse.
He'll be under Emma Woodhouse.
Regardless
of where he lives, Emma will be in charge. He'll keep her in check a bit more.
So Frank's letter, we got the whole text of in the previous chapter. It was written to Mrs. Weston, who then sent it on to Emma so she could read all of Frank's apologies. Because this is the thing they do with letters. They become public. Remember Miss Bates trying to read Jane's letters to everybody? Which is why Jane had to be so careful keeping her ones from Frank secret. Because one, they're not supposed to write in the first place. And they definitely cannot be made public.
That would have been a bad situation for the two of them.
You're so pretty. You're so, so pretty.
I love you, bitch. I ain't never gonna stop loving you, bitch. Do you know that meme?
No, I don't.
Classic, of course. I'll show you later.
As soon as Emma came to her own name, it was irresistible, and every line relating to herself was interesting and agreeable. You're so into yourself.
Yeah.
Although you do want to know what other people are saying about you.
I feel like it's just part of human nature is wanting to know what other people think of you.
He would have known that she would have ended up reading the letter, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. He writes it as if it'll be read by her.
Frank had been wrong, but also he was sorry and he suffered. And he's so grateful to Mrs. Weston and so much in love with Miss Fairfax. And Emma's so happy that she kind of feels like she has to forgive him. When Mr. Knightley turns up, she wants him to read the letter. He's not that interested, but then he's like, well, can I just take it home and read it so I can hang out with you? No, because Mr. Weston's going to pick it up. And then we have him reading the letter and commenting to her as he goes through the letter.
I feel like Mr. Knightley doesn't want to read the letter, mostly out of spite. I feel like regardless of what the letter contained, it's going to make him angry. I'm so sorry and I apologize. And he's like, I'm just so in love with Jane. And Mr. Knightley's still going to be picking apart his grammar and picking apart, being like, well, this is disingenuine. I don't believe it.
He does point out some stuff, not about the grammar. Because Frank talks about having his father's disposition, which is, everything's positive, everything's going to come out fine. And it does. But Mr. Knightley says, Mr. Weston earned every present comfort before he endeavoured to gain it. Difference is that Frank wanted to be rich without effort. This is my commentary, not Mr. Knightley. Whereas Mr. Weston very rationally waited till he had the money and a home before securing his wife. But hot-headed Frank wanted to nail down Jane Fairfax. That sounded wrong.
Hey. He met the girl, wanted to make sure he had the girl, and then sorted his affairs out.
Yeah, not the way to do things.
No. If he hadn't secured Jane, all likelihood she would have gone to Ireland.
Yeah, she would have gone to Ireland.
I mean, it doesn't exactly make it better, but it does make it understandable.
He could have made friends with Mr. Dixon, so he had somebody to write to about Jane. Long term, I'm interested. I mean, maybe it's too much to tell somebody. Long term, I'm interested in marrying your friend's friend. Therefore, I want to keep in contact with you so I can keep in contact with her because obviously we cannot write to each other. As a real man, like Mr. Knightley, he always talks about, a real man wants to take a woman to a better home than the one that she's known. He wants to be prepared for her and all of that sort of shit. And Frank was just like, but I want her.
So he goes about it in the less suitable way in order to keep her around. But then he treats her like shit, though. It's all good for him to be like, oh yeah, I was so in love with her and I wanted to make sure that she was good and here, and while my aunt died, because that was the only way I was going to secure my fortune, is wait for her death.
And what are you going to do? Kill your aunt?
Yeah, which is admittedly the worst thing he could have done. In that process, he treats Jane terribly, and then treating Emma terribly as well by flirting with Emma and leading her along. Yeah, you really did do a lot of bad things in the name of love.
Mr. Knightley says, even if you hadn't been in the case, I think I would have distrusted him.
On the scale of things, where does Knightley and Emma's relationship fall? They've known each other their whole lives, but they have this much closer friendship than I think unmarried men and women would normally have. Miss Knightley, are you also doing things quite so correctly?
Because they're kind of family, though, I guess it makes it okay.
Oh, that's true. I'd forgotten that factor, because of their siblings being married.
Mr. Knightley does not point out, I told you so, but Emma points it out for him. You were right that Frank could have come sooner.
Yeah.
He chose not to. He waited till Jane was here.
I still think that might be one of the suckiest things that Frank did, was wait until Jane was here in order to bother meeting his new mother and to see his father who loves him so unconditionally, like especially compared to like his aunt, who has the condition of him doing whatever she wants.
Well, that's the story that we get told anyway.
That's true. I feel like if I met Frank today as like a modern guy, I'd tell all of my friends, stay away from him.
No, but it'd be hot and charming though.
He would be hot and charming, but I have met guys who my friends thought were hot and charming who gave me the icks.
Everybody sees different things based on their past experiences. If someone gets an ick, you should listen to the ick.
Yeah.
Mr. Knightley says, the beauty of truth and sincerity, isn't it great that we have that together? Later it's echoed in something that Jane says to Emma. Being able to be honest about all the things that are going on and what a relief it is. Emma blushes, thinking about Harriet. They haven't been talking about Harriet.
I feel like one of the deep morals of the story is honesty is the best policy.
Always.
Yes.
The pianoforte very clearly came from Frank. Mr. Knightley's like, yep, told you it was a boyish scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot comprehend a man wishing to give a woman any proof of affection which he knows she would rather dispense with. Consent.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want the thing.
Yeah, consent.
It should have been his first object to prevent her from suffering unnecessarily. All of these things that Emma's been measuring up and going, this is how a man should be. Frank's not acting that way. Mr. Knightley would never. Mr. Knightley's like, her only fault. She consented to the engagement.
Frank did go about it badly, but so did Jane, where she did agree to enter into a secret engagement.
But she was going to be self-punishing for doing that thing that she knew that was wrong, but he punished her more by his behaviour.
She had her own, like, guilt and shame that was, like, internal, but she didn't put that onto him or anybody else. He really did push that off onto other people.
Mr. Knightley finds out that Jane almost left to go and be a governess. Because remember, the day that Emma found out was the day that Mr. Knightley left. She didn't get a chance to tell him before he went to London. So he had no idea this was going on. It didn't come to him in the letters, but the bit about Frank and Jane being engaged did.
How can you believe what is being written to you is, like, the truth? He didn't get the whole story in the letters he was being sent because he didn't know about Jane being a governess and stuff. So you're reliant on the information other people are giving you, which very much feels like how you can't believe everything you read, especially online.
You can't believe everything people say either.
No.
How are you meant to believe anything?
What is truth?
It does not exist. Frank has faults of inconsideration and thoughtlessness. He's going to be happier than he deserves, but his character will improve because Jane's is steady and has a delicacy of principle.
She can fix him.
That's always the way, isn't it?
The woman fixing the man? Or just him getting into a relationship with a slightly toxic person?
The letter's out of the way. And Mr. Knightley wants to ask Emma to marry him in plain, unaffected, gentleman-like English, because that's how he does things. He knows she can't quit her father exactly the same as she does, and he's like, I have a plan. What about if I come and live at Hartfield? Your father will be happy, and also, if he moves, it could kill him. Let's not do that. So long as you need to live at Hartfield, I am happy to live here with you. She's like, wow, that would be sacrificing all of his independence, his hours, his habits, and having to live constantly with her father. No house of his own, so much to bear with. And then she's like, William Larkins won't like it. She's joking at this point. The guy that helps with Knightley's estate.
Yeah.
He won't be happy with you doing this.
You must get his consent before you ask mine. Who's got the priority in this relationship? Your estate manager, not your future wife.
But she can see how much easier it would make her life to have him there, to have this companion in periods of anxiety, especially as they're going to get worse as
Mr. Woodhouse ages.
Yeah.
You know, having that support system in the house makes so much difference. Even if they hadn't gotten engaged, though, you know that Mr. Knightley would have come to, like, help take care
very much
of Mr. Woodhouse, regardless of him and Emma's relationship status.
Yay, all happy. But then in the back of Emma's mind, she's like, oh, Harriet, she's going to now be excluded from Hartfield because she'd be a deadweight. And it's not like she can get over Mr. Knightley easily because he's not a dick like Mr. Elton.
Mm-hmm.
Always so kind, so feeling, so truly considerate for everybody, would never deserve to be less worshipped than now.
You know what? She could have been worshipped this whole time, Emma, if you hadn't broken up her and Mr. Martin. She would have been way more worshipped than I think Mr. Knightley will worship you.
And that's our discussion of Chapter 51 of Emma by Jane Austen. I've been Frances Duncan. This has been Rachel Pilwer.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. We wish you happy reading.